Work hard, play hard, work hard, play hard, work hard, play hard, work hard, play hard. Work.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Unscripted Hip Hop. We are back at it. It's your main man Amin right here, coming at you with the livest reviews, the best commentary. So thank y'all for checking out Unscripted Hip Hop. Appreciate all the love on all the other videos. Make sure you subscribe and comment below. So we're gonna get started. Got a lovely little review we're gonna do today. We will be reviewing Wiz Khalifa's brand new album entitled O.N.I.F.C. And for those that don't know what that means, blatantly it's only nigga in first class. Wiz Khalifa, he's been around for a minute. He's definitely what I like to call a lane rapper. And what I mean by a lane rapper is that he kind of fits into a certain lane as far as rapping goes, hence lane rapper. And if you're at all familiar with what Wiz Khalifa does, and all he raps about is smoking. He's one of those weed head rappers. But going into this album, I didn't want to label it before I heard anything. I didn't want to go in there with any preconceived notions. But prior to him releasing this album, he did release a couple of mixtapes. The most recent of which was Cabin Fever 2. And the one right before that was Taylor Alderdice. Now, before we get to O.N.I.F.C, I love Taylor Alderdice. I think that the lyrical content obviously wasn't of prolific status, and it wasn't something that you're gonna listen to and just be like, damn, whoa, did you catch what he just said? But what I really did appreciate on that mixtape was the sound that it delivered. Cabin Fever 2, and we're gonna forget that whenever it came out. But let's get to O.N.I.F.C. Okay. Positives about the album. This being his second major label release, it definitely, in my opinion, didn't sound like his first one, which was Rolling Papers. I think with Rolling Papers, it was really commercial sounding, and it wasn't what people were used to from Wiz Khalifa, being that he came from independent, doing his own thing, having a very significant sound, and then going on to Rolling Papers, which was his industry album, and it sounding completely like radio friendly, really pop like. I think that with O.N.I.F.C, it's not as mainstream. I think that with this album, he definitely did find his groove as far as where he is comfortable making music. And although there are some, pop records on this album, I think that that's just something that comes with the business. But overall, I think that he definitely did find his groove, and knowing that it's not fair to discount this album as horrible or garbage, because you need to understand, Wiz Khalifa makes music for a certain audience. Now, people that smoke weed all the time, chilling, ain't got nothing to do, just lounging around, this is going to appeal to them, because I think that he's really passionate about that, smoking weed, and it comes through on his music. I think there's a certain vibe that's created, and they're gonna enjoy it. Now, from a commentary perspective, so the album has 17 tracks. Okay, the good about the album. What I liked about the album, and what I've always liked about Wiz Khalifa, is that he's really good at riding the beat. Meaning, whatever beat he's on, like, he can find a natural flow to it, and it doesn't sound like, it's choppy. It doesn't sound, unbalanced. I think that as a rapper, he definitely does have a flow. Flow, that is. Not necessarily lyrical content, but we'll get to that later. With all the beats that I think he chose for this album, they're really smooth, and I think that you kind of get to see a little versatility as far as his flow goes with some of the different tracks. Some of them that are very contrasting. In my opinion, are one, the Work Hard Play Hard, which was, I believe, the first single off the album. So you definitely get that more mainstream hip hop sound. And so you see the way that he kind of flows on that beat, but then you get the track Remember You with The Weeknd that is very un-Wiz Khalifa like, but he does deliver a listenable verse on there. It flows well with the music, so I definitely have to give him that. Another thing that I kind of liked on this album were some of the features. I think that he plays very well to what sounds good with him on an album. It definitely wasn't like, a lot of people just grabbing the biggest names in hip hop, the biggest names, in media right now, and putting them on the album just for the sake of having the names on there. I think that what Wiz did with this was bring some people that really do complement his sound and that were able to, come through complimentary on the beat. Some of those people, of course you have, his Taylor Gang folks, Lola Monroe, Juicy J, Chevy Woods. I think that he's really created a good eclectic group of artists that sound good together. Outside of that, he does have Pharrell on one of the tracks. I think that was a fresh breath for a lot of us hip hop heads. 2 Chainz is on there on the It's Nothing track. 2 Chainz is 2 Chainz. You're gonna get an entertaining verse no matter what. Might not be the most groundbreaking lyrics. No Martin Luther King. I Have a Dream type lyrics, but you are getting something fun to listen to. Akon, he threw Akon on one of the tracks, Let It Go. I've always been a fan of Akon. I think Akon has always produced quality music. I don't think I've ever heard something that was garbage from Akon, or in my, it's different, but I enjoy it. And seeing him on that track with Wiz Khalifa definitely was it was a good contrast, but then again, it did work. It was complimentary. And then Throwback with Cameron on the Bluff track. That was cool too. It was nice to see that interplay between those 2 rappers. Okay. Before we get to the bat, I want to say that my favorite track on this album, hands down, that I think I will constantly listen to, is Remember You featuring The Weeknd. I think that the haunting, really dark instrumental was genius. I think for Wiz Khalifa to get on something that was totally opposite to what he's used to, worked perfectly. And of course, I think The Weeknd killed that track. He's always great. Shout out to Canada. But yeah, the Remember You track, definitely, if you're gonna check something out, do check that one out. Okay, the bads about the album. Like I said, Wiz Khalifa is not the most lyrical, and so if you really listen to what he's saying, every track is the same thing. I've narrowed it down, and it talks about 3 things. He talks about smoking weed, number 1. Number 2, how he has more money, and he has a lot of money. And 3, how he has really nice clothes. So if you like those types of lyrics, hey, I found the perfect album for you, because that's all that he raps about. And then some of the tracks were just weird. Like, I think that some of the beats were strange, like that Fall Asleep track. It sounded like I was listening to like Mr. Rogers when they go to like Imaginary Land. That's what it sounded like to me. Nah, Wiz. That's not Gucci, son. That's not Gucci. And yeah, it's just simple. I think that Wiz definitely could have came a little harder. Nothing lyrically exciting about this album. Dope beats. I think if you are stoned and you are high out of your mind, you're gonna enjoy it. Definitely some psychedelic beats. Yeah. As far as the unscripted rating, 2 stars. That's all I can do. But yeah, Wiz Khalifa, O.N.I.F.C, Unscripted Hip Hop. Appreciate y'all.